All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are in chapter 6 of Call of Cthulhu. My call sign is November 9. I am happy to bring this game to you. If you are new to the series, if you go back to the first video, I think it was in there. I explained, like the hero of our story, I'm an Army veteran. I'm also from New England, so I wasn't really familiar with H.P. Lovecraft's work, and so it's really interesting to me. It's set in New England. He's from New England. I'm from New England. The hero's a military veteran. I'm a military veteran. So it all kind of synchronicities together. In the last episode, we escaped the insane asylum. After trying several different methods to escape, we found one that worked by overloading the machine of the doctor who's experimenting on the patients there. I personally believe it's some sort of hallucinogenic gas that weakens their mind and makes them more susceptible to having their thoughts invaded by this mysterious creature we have come to know as Leviathan. I also believe Leviathan is the miraculous catch. I do not believe the townspeople actually caught the miraculous catch and ate it. I believe that they got too close to where the creature was, and it saw in them a host and a way to propagate its life. So it convinced them by manipulating their minds through their desperation and hunger that they had eaten of it and they were full. I know that doesn't explain the mysterious roast that we found in the dining room of the Hawkins mansion, because I presumed initially that was the mysterious creature or the miraculous catch left over, but I've changed my mind. I think that this is all inside their heads, and the further we go in this is getting into our head. So let's start chapter 6. Hawkins Mansion. Pierce woke up in an asylum installed in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. He met Dr. Colden, a female friend of Bradley, who helped him to escape. Wandering through the corridors of this place where Dr. Fuller reigned supreme, Pierce was able to talk to a man called Francis Saunders. Before dying in full view of the detective, he accused Sarah Hawkins of being the cause of his torments. Pierce finally left the accursed building, accompanied by Bradley and Colden. Again, that happened, but I guess it did not occur in the game. The companions in misfortune decide to use the Hawkins Mansion as a hideout. News to me. All right, let's enter madness.
Who goes there?
That nightmare again. I need a drink.
Do what you want. I'm just trying to reason.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
So I'm not high enough level to trigger this conversation dialogue. So that's what the grayed out one means. You have to be a higher level. So the only way I could have been at that level is if I had spent points to advance occultism at the beginning of the game. Just something to think about if you have yet to play this or you're going to do another playthrough.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
You're right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
And I chose that conversation option because we saw Officer Bradley get gut punched, lifted up in the air, thrown across the room, presumably dead, according to the game, disemboweled, and yet he's sitting here right before us. So who's to say Francis Saunders isn't still alive, has his eyes back, everything all normal, you know? So, I mean, that's why I chose that as the convo dialogue. Alright, so we're not going to chapter break, even though we've normally been chapter breaking when we have a loading screen like this. Pierce, Colden, and Bradley decided to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow. Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter who died right in front of Pierce, allegedly. The detective goes to his house in order to speak to his widow about the Shambler that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died. And I believe right now the Shambler is the mysterious figure in the painting shown to us by Sarah Hawkins' father in chapter 1.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here. You know each other.
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me.
What did we interrupt? We'll carry on later. Ooh la la.
May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
So if we had psychology up a little bit more, we could use that. I don't want to do that or this, so I'm going to do this one.
I expected to find you more grief-stricken than this by the death of your husband.
I do not like the tone of your allusion, sir. I had long months to weep every tear in my body, and to accept, if not my fate, at least that of my husband. And so I'm sorry to disappoint you if you're expecting more hysteria and grieving widow in my voice. Rest assured, however, my anger is real. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
Hold to test eloquence. Why don't we do this? See if this works.
Mrs. Sanders, I understand your grief, and I extend my deepest condolences to you. But I had nothing to do with the death of your husband. I've just arrived on Darkwater. I'm investigating the death of the Hawkins family.
The death of the Hawkins family? You mean it was not an accident? This accursed island knows only tragedy after tragedy. You too would be advised to flee it like the plague. Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
I'm worried that we're only going to get one bite at the apple. And so let's do this one, just to see what happens.
May I ask you what Miss Baker is doing here? How do you know her?
My business with Miss Baker is private, Mr. Pierce.
But you do know what kind of business Miss Baker is in, don't you?
I am no fool. Please believe that much, at least.
How did you come to meet Sarah Hawkins?
We were the wealthiest and most influential families on Darkwater. Of course we would know each other. And when Charles returned from Europe with his sweet little artist, she and her sinister paintings were destined to catch my husband's eye. He bought many of her works over the last 5 years. They adorn his macabre gallery.
Alright, so maybe we can get in there and look at those.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can't imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Let's look at these other clues if we can.
Did she really care for him after all?
Dearest Madam, I acknowledge receipt of the letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I'm sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to return his body to you. At the moment of his internment, you signed a discharge allowing me to dispose of his body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you, Thomas Fuller.
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Photograph of Sarah Hawkins' neck to Sanders. They must be close. And I found it odd the two women were standing next to each other. Mrs. Sanders on the outside of the group. Very, very odd.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? A house of artists. A house of artists.
Maybe that's why Sarah had a piano in her house.
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler. Finally. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
You know, and here's the other funny thing in our dialogue with the wife. It was like we didn't know what the Shambler was, but I distinctly remember in our notes, when we looked at the sales of Sarah Hawkins' painting, it said the Shambler was a gift to this guy for free. He didn't even pay for it. And I wonder if this is the Shambler painting.
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom?
Examine the Shambler. Is this the painting in the warehouse? I don't know, it's weird. When I stand here, I can see it, but then I fade through it.
She despises Sarah Hawkins, but it's the painting she truly hates. Why?
She despises Sarah Hawkins because of Sarah Hawkins' relationship with her husband. But why does she despise the painting? Because it occupies her husband's mind and he can't stop talking about it, displacing her as the emotional center of her husband's universe.
She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel?
She ended up giving it to him for free. What are you talking about?
The Shambler. I need to see it.
So it's like he gouged out his own eyes after seeing the painting. Perhaps he never wanted to see anything else again. Or perhaps when he looked into the Shambler deeply for the first time as its owner, the Leviathan entered his brain and terrified him to the extent that he felt never seeing again was the preferable option.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
It says an audio recording that Francis Sanders left for his wife Irene.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
That accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings. That accursed Sarah.
You gonna throw me some cash so I can set your house on fire? That must be his office. The wallpaper appears to be gouged and tattered. I don't think these people are as wealthy as they're leading us to believe. Hello.
A strange Amerindian pendant.
I'll take that.
I could use one of those.
And that. The Whale and the Cod, or A Brief History of Darkwater by Ed Irwan Greenmouth. It just focuses on the past glory of the island. So clearly it's about 5 pages long.
An old diary.
This volume spends some time on Reverend Wickwood's community. His wife expressed her worries about the strange dreams that the Reverend's congregation are having since their arrival on the island. Some members of the community, her husband included, began to speak of their vision as a messenger sent by God. She is scared they will suffer the same fate as the lost tribe. Is there something over here? Well, of course there is. It is the work of a student in book form. Although the observations are relevant, they lack the expertise of an experienced physician. However, the questions asked allow us to imagine new ways of exploring human anatomy. I think Kat and I will have a word after I take this right from in front of her. Would you read the book? Sure. It is a kind of encyclopedia of mantras and unknown creatures. I am beginning to believe they exist. Perhaps it is the Necronomicon or something like. Oh, it says Malleus Bestiarium? Volume 2. This will affect your destiny. Maybe I shouldn't have read that. Now let's see what she says.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
Another painting by Sarah Hawkins. One connected to the horrors I've discovered on this island.
What a surprise. I'm listening.
There's more than that, Miss Baker.
So people have been talking behind my back. I was almost beginning to like you, Mr. Pierce. But it stays Cat for you.
You knew the Sanders?
Irene is a friend of mine.
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network, and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
Key to the gallery, and she left. Rule number 1, lady. If you have something valuable... Oh, there she is. Never mind. Never mind! I don't think I need to hide in here. Although I am going to shut the door. Huh. That looks like the ceremonial dagger we found. It's like a sphinx with a human skeleton head? Yikes. Okay, there was a little investigation thing there and I hit it and nothing happened. I have a fully maxed investigation skill. Don't play around like that. Death mask, maybe? That's very odd looking. I want that knife so I can stab that chick with it.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times. These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
I can't take one? Huh.
Why was he so interested in old weapons?
This is just a lot of the same items over and over again, so I don't know. Like, these two tablets were bigger versions of one in the case, so we've already seen that and that. These aren't different items. I think they're all items from the same cult, or that the cult considers valuable. Hey, I want to look at that. Okay, I'm hitting it. A. I don't know what's going on here, but I can't do anything with that. Stone tablets.
The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
And then doesn't let anyone look at it. There's this mask again. And we're gonna look at that in a minute. Honest. Okay, I'm kind of disappointed. There's been several things I thought we would be able to interact with and can't. I don't know if that's an error in the game or because I'm not hitting A enough in order to interact with it. Let's try one more time. Nope, can't get that to work. All right, let's go look at the Shambler. And now, if I remember correctly, Francis Saunders told us to burn it. So there should be an option for me to light this fucking thing on fire. It appears to be just a mouth. And now the painting is doing stuff. No, turn around. Throw something at it. Light it on fire. Don't not look at what's coming out of it. Oh my god.
What the hell was that?
So can I light it on fire now? running, honest.
I can't even touch it.
Okay, so we got lifted up in the air and stabbed to death by a giant spider with sword arms and no eyeballs. So, good times.
What the hell was that? I can't even touch it. No way out. No choice. I must get rid of it.
Okay, so this is really pissing me off. So,
What the hell was that?
I have no idea how to kill this thing. It's talking about hiding in closets. We need to get out of here. Will light keep it at bay? No, it will not keep it at bay.
What the hell was that? This dagger looks different.
What's the matter with you? You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
It's nothing. I think I just drank too much.
That goes without saying. If you can't tell the difference between reality and fiction, then you're in real trouble.
My arm was disappearing into this painting. You must have seen that.
I saw you put your trembling hands on a collector's artifact. Where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
The creature. This dagger was the only weapon capable of pushing it back. If Hawkins was trying to get rid of this shambler, she might have made contact with Drake. This antique dealer has a good knowledge of the occult. I have nothing to lose by meeting him.
You've got your spunk back. Go where you want. I'm staying here to talk business with Irene.
All right, so at long last, we figured out where the dagger was that we needed to kill the painting and the shambler. It really was a comedy of errors. I haven't decided, but I'm probably going to cut me trying to burn the painting and me trying to escape and me trying to do everything else out of there. Essentially, you use that one certain dagger in the corner of the room to slash the painting. All the other daggers are red herrings. They don't work. They don't do anything. So that is the end of chapter 6. I really appreciate you joining me on that journey. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. You're always welcome to leave a comment or subscribe. Again, my call sign is November 9. Thank you for coming to my channel, and I will see you on the next video.